Hello my YouTube beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a spring summer look using only affordable products that you can buy at the drugstore. I know people get very frustrated when YouTubers include drugstore products that are drugstore pricing, but you really can't go into the store and purchase it. You have to order it online, and that's not like an option for everyone. So I wanted to only use products in this video that you can go physically to the store and buy at Walgreens, Target, CVS, wherever you are. And I'm going to be sharing with you one of my favorite go-to spring summer looks that I've been doing a lot lately. So if you like these types of videos, be sure to let me know by giving this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe because I do upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Alright, so first I'm going to start out with a primer that I haven't used in a very long time. This is the Revlon Prime Plus. I did a wear test Wednesday on this. This is supposed to mattify and reduce your pores. I really love the Revlon pore reducing primer, but that's a little different. This is supposed to also mattify. I remember when I first applied this, it didn't mattify a ton. So I want to test it out again. I want to see if it's any good. And it does come in a pump like this, so that's awesome. I think it comes out in like a white consistency. It looks like that. My face always gets really red right after I apply primer. I'm not exactly sure why that is. So for today's foundation, I'm going to be taking the No7 Match Made Custom Blend Foundation Drops. These are my favorite drops ever to exist. They are great on their own. They're great mixed in with something. It doesn't really matter how you use this necessarily, but what works for my skin the best is just using it on its own. And I love putting it over a mattifying or pore reducing primer because it just allows the primer to shine through. Not literally, figuratively. I don't want a dewy skin look, but it allows the primer to really like show what the primer is gonna do rather than the formula of the foundation, if that makes any sense, because these are just foundation drops. They aren't actually a full-on foundation. They just apply pigment. There's not any real formula to it. It doesn't say that it's going to be matte. It doesn't say it's going to be dewy, but in my experience, this basically does whatever the primer does underneath it. So if I wear a mattifying primer, this is going to look matte throughout the day. It does come in a little squeeze bottle like this. Now this is a little bit more expensive at the drugstore, but I do think it's a great alternative to the Cover FX custom cover drops or whatever they're called. You only need the tiniest amount to cover your entire face. Basically, the idea behind it is the more drops you use, the more full coverage it's going to be. So that's another thing I like about this product is you can build up the coverage to whatever you want based on how much product you use of this, because it does build really well. Sits so nicely on the skin. It goes a very long way. I don't know. I just think this is definitely one of the best foundation-like products at the drugstore. Gives such a nice soft look to the skin. And my favorite way to apply foundations, especially this one, is with a beauty blender. I find it just spreads the best with a beauty blender compared to a brush. See, it totally covered up all of my acne spots right here. And by the way, these are scars. Like, I don't know what my skin is doing, but these are not active acne spots on this side. This part of my chin has just been scars for the last months, and I don't know how to get rid of it. I've been using the different gel, and that seems to have diminished them quite a bit, which is awesome, so I'm going to keep on using that. I don't know if your skin can like go through different phases, because I feel like mine totally is, where I'm getting more of that like cystic acne plus scarring type of effect on my skin, which sucks because I don't want that. And they're really, I mean, it sucks because when you get a spot, you just know that it's going to scar, and so you don't want to touch it, but you also like don't want to sit there with a big spot on your face. It's a whole thing, but I do think that the different gel is helping with that. So I'm going to keep using that, and hopefully it gets rid of the scarring totally, because it has improved since I've started using the different gel every day. All right, that's my base. I still have a ton of product left over. I didn't use all of it, so that's another thing, is you don't have to use tons and tons of this to get a good medium to full coverage look. All right, I'm going to take the CoverGirl TruBlend Undercover Concealer. This is my favorite concealer at the drugstore other than the Catrice HD Liquid Camouflage, but you can only get that at Ulta, and I'm trying to make a lot of these more accessible at Walgreens or Target or CVS rather than Ulta, because Ulta still does carry like high-end brands. I just use a little bit. This is the closest thing I found to a dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape. It just totally covers up my dark circles It does have a matte finish. By the way, this look is geared more towards oily skinned folks because the products I'm going to use are going to be mattifying. If you don't want a matte look, you could always use the No7 Drops with a dewy primer and you would get a dewy finish. To set everything down, I'm going to take the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. I recommend this or the Wet n Wild Photo Focus powder. This powder does have a little bit of a tint to it, so it does add just a little coverage. Not totally translucent. I don't think they have a translucent version of this. So if you guys have been watching me for a little while, you know that I am going to, pending Yosemite being open, going to attempt to hike Half Dome in July. Would you guys want me to film that? Like, I don't know if that's something you guys would be interested in. I feel like I need to get like a consensus from you guys of if you would be interested in watching it, because if you should like look up Half Dome if you haven't heard of it before. But it's basically a 12-hour hike that's about 14 miles round trip, and the elevation gain is like 5,000 feet, and then there's like cables at the top that you have to hold on to. So I'm going with my dad, my husband, and my stepmom in July, hopefully. I think they'll be open. And it sounds like California is going to the phase 3 version of this COVID pandemic. And so that it's less limiting on non-essential travel. So once they do that, then Yosemite is going to open. And they're thinking that that's going to happen early June. I'm curious, do you guys want me to film the process and the hike up? Not everyone makes this hike. That's the thing. It's like, I don't know if I want to film it because I might not make it, but I hope I'll make it, and I'm dedicated to making it, but we'll see. I guess I won't post it if I don't make it. I'm going to take the rest of those foundation drops and just add them to my lid as a like an eyeshadow base. If you guys are interested in me filming the process of hiking Half Dome, let me know that down in the comments, because I'm kind of conflicted. It's something I have to plan for. Like, I can't just decide to do it. So I would love some feedback from you if you would want me to do that kind of video. All right, I just set down my eyes. I pretty much only use foundation or concealer for an eyeshadow base now. I don't notice that it really changes the formula of like how the eyeshadows go on anymore. I feel like the products that I use consistently are matte, long wearing, and that's exactly what I'm looking for an eyeshadow base too. So I've just been using concealer foundation and it's been working out great, not having patchy eyeshadow or anything. Now that everything is set down, my skin is nice and matte. For a spring, summer look, I like more of a kind of dewy skin, but I know that my skin is going to get more oily throughout the day. So I try to start with like a matte base, and then throughout the day, I'll just get gradually a little bit more oily, which will add a little bit of life and shine back to my skin. And the No7 Drops allow for that. So I like to do that. Even though this look is matte right now, throughout the day as it wears, especially if you're outside and stuff, it is going to look a little bit more natural. And I'm going to take the e.l.f. Contouring Blush and Bronzing Powder in the shade St. Lucia. This is a bronzer and blush duo, both really good from the drugstore. So I'm going to take the bronzer and just start bronzing up the skin. Now my skin is a little bit more bronzy, so I'm going to take the same blush in the palette. It's kind of reminds me of NARS Orgasm a little bit. It's like a light peachy pink with some gold glitters in it. This is definitely not the best duo I've ever used in my life, but for it to be really, really affordable by e.l.f. and from the drugstore, I think it's pretty good. Like, in terms of a drugstore face duo, I would recommend this. Okay, for highlight, you're gonna probably have to go to Target for this one because I don't think Walgreens or CVS has this brand, but this is the Makeup Obsession Mega Destiny highlighter in the shade, yes, Mega Destiny. This is a really good highlight, especially for summer. It's a little bit more dark. As you can see, like, it's bronzy, more champagne shade, and so I like to use this in the summer because it adds a nice highlight to the cheeks without making them look too glittery. All right, for brows, I'm gonna take my e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil. This is my favorite brow pencil from the drugstore. And just like in general, I feel like it's a really good dupe for Anastasia Brow Wiz because the tip is very similar and the formula is very similar. Now, if you want a little bit more natural, fluffy looking brows, then I would recommend not setting them down with a clear brow gel. I mean, the clear brow gel is going to help them stay in place a little bit better, but if you're looking for more of that natural type of brow look, then you don't really have to set them. I'm going to set them, and the only brow gel I have at the moment is from Sephora. I apologize. There are brow gels at the drugstore. I know that CoverGirl has a good tinted one that I'm really wanting to test out. I know that e.l.f. has a great brow gel. I just don't like to use them together. I don't like to use this and that together because they make my eyebrows too dark. But e.l.f. has a really great, it's called Wow Brow. Their brow gel is really good. I think the issue is with having like a clear brow gel at the drugstore, there's just not a lot out there. They're all pretty tinted. All right, I'm gonna set my brows down. Again, you can definitely use a brow gel from the drugstore. I just haven't found any good clear brow gels at the drugstore though. So if you have any, let me know. All right, brows are done. Next up is eyeshadow. So I have a few different eyeshadow palettes here. I have the e.l.f. bite-sized eyeshadow. Now these are really good. They come in multiple different like color themes. So I have the most neutral one, the shade Cream and Sugar. That one, these are like $3 too. And the formula is really good. Then I also have CoverGirl TruNaked Golden's palette and the Matte Bar Maybelline palette. I don't feel like I can really make a whole look with just one of these, unfortunately. And that's just how the drugstore is. I think I'm not gonna find a palette that is like an all-in-one type of palette for me. So I'm gonna take a mixture of some of these. I kind of want to go for a pink type of crease with a light layer of champagne eyeshadow. That's kind of what I'm going for. So I'm gonna take a big fluffy brush, go in, start with maybe this shade right here. It's a light pink, and start putting this into my crease. This is from the Matte Bar palette. Another good palette from the drugstore is the Maybelline Lemonade Craze palette. Now, I feel like I've been using that a lot lately, and so that's why I picked these ones, so I could change it up a little bit. But that's also a good one, and I feel like I can get a full look from that palette. I think I may keep this look light and not add something in the outer V to deepen it. All right, now I'm gonna go in with this shade right here from the Golden's palette. It's just a light cream champagne shade. And apply this all over the lid. All right, now I'm gonna take my pencil brush and take the shade down in this palette. It's a little bit darker of a pink. Just buff it under my lower lash line. To me, this eyeshadow look screams summer. And you guys know my mascara is already a drugstore favorite. This is the CoverGirl LashBlast Fusion. It's the purple tube. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply a coat of mascara to my top and bottom lashes. I'm not gonna put on any eyeliner today. All right, the last step in this look is some nice nude lipstick. This is the Revlon Super Lustrous Matte Lipstick in the shade 003 Pick Me Up. This is a wonderful nude. It's so pretty. This is an awesome drugstore lipstick, by the way. I haven't tried a ton of lipsticks from the drugstore, but this is a very good one if you like matte lipsticks. This lipstick is so comfortable. It goes on very, very creamy, and then it dries down to a nice matte. I noticed that it wears a long time on the lips also, and I think it's just a really good nude if you have fair skin. All right, guys, this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, I will have the products that I use linked down in the description box below if you missed any of them. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.